Where can we find precious metals? Silver and gold are precious metals. Precious metals are expensive and important because they are difficult to find. Lots of jewelry is made of gold and silver. In the past, people used gold in lots of different things, from cups and coins to teeth. They also used silver to make coins. They used it to make knives, forks and spoons, and they needed it to help make photographs too. Today, we don't use precious metals to make coins or photographs. But there's gold and silver in some sports medals. And now we need these precious metals to make parts of our computers and mobile phones. We can find pieces of gold and silver in rocks all over the world. There's a lot of gold in the rocks under the sea, but it's very difficult to get it. Sometimes people find gold in rivers. Traditionally, people find it using a pan. With the pan, they pick up small rocks and water from the bottom of a river. Then they move the pan. The small pieces of rock stay on the surface because they are light. But the gold is very heavy, so it falls to the bottom of the pan. The pieces of gold found in rivers are usually very small. People still look for gold in rivers today, but they use big machines, not pans. Most gold comes from gold mines. People have to go a long way underground or dig very deep holes to get to the gold. It's hard work. Silver is also found underground. There are lots of silver mines in Mexico. Artists make the silver into beautiful jewelry. Precious metals are difficult to find. Let's find out more. What kinds of renewable energy are there? A lot of the energy we use today is very bad for the environment. When we use fuels like oil and coal, they can cause pollution. One day, there won't be any more of these fuels. Renewable energy doesn't pollute the environment, and we can use it again and again. There will always be more of it. We get renewable energy from the sun, the wind, and plants. We use this renewable energy to make electricity. We can use this electricity in our homes and towns, and we can keep the electricity in batteries. We can use these batteries in electric cars, bikes, scooters, and lots of other machines. We collect energy from the sun using solar panels. There are solar panels on houses in towns and in fields in the countryside. We can even use solar panels to charge our phones, make cars move, and make planes fly. This solar-powered plane, called Solar Impulse 2, flew around the world. The International Space Station has got thousands of solar panels. We collect energy from the wind using wind turbines. There are turbines on land and in the sea. There are wind farms with thousands of turbines. The biggest turbines are more than 200 meters tall. We collect energy from plants by making them into biofuel. Farmers grow crops like corn and wheat. The crops are turned into biofuel in a factory. This fuel can be used to drive some lorries, buses, and tractors. There are lots of different kinds of renewable energy. Let's find out more. What kinds of art were there in ancient Egypt? The ancient Egyptians built some amazing buildings, like the pyramids and the Sphinx that we can still see today. When the rulers of ancient Egypt, the pharaohs, died, people buried them inside tombs. When archaeologists went into these tombs thousands of years later, they found lots of beautiful Egyptian art. Artists in ancient Egypt made paper from the stems of a plant called papyrus. This plant grew along the river Nile that runs through Egypt. They cut the stems of the plant and made a thick paper. They wrote on papyrus and they painted on it too. Artists also painted on stone walls. We can see some of these paintings today. Artists made paintings of people and animals. We can learn a lot about how the ancient Egyptians lived from the pictures. The paintings are very, very old, so some of the colors are pale now. But many of the paintings in the tombs where there's no sun still look amazing. Artists used a special liquid from trees to help keep the colors bright. Each color often had a meaning. Red was being angry, green was being happy, and white was being clean. Blue and gold paint were expensive, so artists used these colors in paintings for the pharaohs. Egyptian artists made ceramic pots in different shapes and colors. And they made many sculptures too. Sculptures of important people often show them sitting down with their hands on their knees. Some of these sculptures are huge. The tombs of the pharaohs were full of amazing jewelry. The jewelry was often made of gold and precious stones because it was a gift for the pharaoh. There was lots of art in ancient Egypt. Let's find out more. How do athletes train? Athletes train to keep fit and get better at their sport so they can win medals. They often train for hours every day. They train outside and they train in the gym. Athletes also have to eat a healthy diet, and they need to rest and sleep well too. Many athletes need to be very strong. They have to train to build their strength. Weightlifters lift heavy weights. They need to be strong in their upper and lower body. Rowers need strong arms and strong legs too. They often start training very early in the morning, and when they are not rowing outside, they're in the gym on the rowing machine. Some athletes need to be very fast. They have to train to build their speed. Runners need to move fast to win races. Running up steps and up hills is very good training if you want to get faster. Long jumpers need to be fast and have strong legs, so they can jump a long way. For some athletes, it's important that they don't fall over easily. They have to train to build their balance. Fencers need good balance, and gymnasts need very good balance. It takes a lot of training to be a gymnast. Gymnasts have to start training when they are very young. All athletes need stamina. Stamina means they can do their sport for a long time. They don't stop even when they are tired. Stamina is really important when an athlete has to keep going for a long time. Athletes train to build their strength, speed, balance, and stamina. Let's find out more. What 3D shapes are buildings? There are incredible buildings in all kinds of 3D shapes around the world. There are tall skyscrapers in many cities that look like cuboids. But they're not always simple shapes. There's an art museum in Germany that looks like a glass cube. There are some strange cube houses in the Netherlands. There's a building in China that looks like a sphere made of gold. In the UK, there's a lighthouse that looks like a cone, and another one that's a cylinder because people need to land a helicopter on the top. There are old stone pyramids in Mexico and Egypt. And there are new pyramids made of glass and metal in cities across the USA. Many buildings are made of more than one 3D shape. This castle is made of lots of cylinders with cones on top. This library is made of shiny cuboids with a cylinder on top. Some buildings are strange and unusual 3D shapes. The shapes are difficult to describe. In London, there are lots of interesting buildings, old and new. The Globe Theatre is a cylinder with no roof. This building looks old, but it isn't. It was built in 1997. The BT Tower is a very tall cylinder with smaller cylinders at the top. Big Ben is a long cuboid, and it's got a cube at the top with a clock on it. There's a small pyramid-shaped roof above the cube. Canary Wharf is also a tall cuboid with a pyramid roof on top, but it's much taller than Big Ben. It's got 50 floors. The American Embassy is a very big glass cube. The Shard is the tallest building in Europe. It looks like a very tall, thin pyramid. It's got 11,000 windows. There are some strange 3D-shaped buildings in London. The Gherkin, the Cheese Grater, and the Walkie-Talkie are all new skyscrapers made of glass and metal. There are different 3D shapes in buildings. Let's find out more. What kinds of machines are there? We all use lots of different machines every day. Simple machines help us to move things. Levers help us to lift things that are difficult to move. A seesaw is a big lever. It moves us up and down. A bottle opener is a lever that helps us take a top off a bottle. A pulley helps us to lift things up or down. A pulley is a rope that sits on a wheel. You pull on the rope to move things. We use a pulley to move flags up and down. Some people use a pulley to get water from under the ground. It's hard work. Wheels and axles help us to move heavy things. There are wheels and axles in a car. The axle is at the center of the wheel. A wheel and axle can be small, like the ones on a skateboard. Or they can be very large, like this big wheel. Wedges help us to move things apart quickly or stop things moving. An axe and a knife are examples of wedges. A ramp is also a kind of wedge. We use ramps to move heavy things from one place to another. A ramp can help a person in a wheelchair move up and down. A screw is also a kind of wedge. We use screws to join things together. We can use screws to make furniture or to put a picture on the wall. A compound machine is made from more than one simple machine. A wheelbarrow is made from 3 different simple machines. A wheel and axle make it move. The handles are levers, and screws join the parts together. Sometimes compound machines are made of many different kinds of simple machines. In a bike, there are levers, screws, and wheels and axles. Imagine how many simple machines are in a car, or in this factory making the cars. There are different kinds of machines. Let's find out more. What are stars? When we look at the night sky, we can see more stars than we can count. A group of stars is called a galaxy. There are about 100 billion stars in our galaxy. It's called the Milky Way because people think it looks like a road made of milk. These stars look small to us. We need a telescope to see them better. But really, they are very large. They are just millions and billions of kilometers away. Stars are burning spheres of gas, and they are bigger than most planets. The Sun is a star. The Sun is at the center of our solar system, and it's the closest star to Earth. It's still 150 million kilometers away. Stars start in space in star factories. These are big, cold clouds made of gas. When the clouds break up, they get very hot, and a star made of gas is created. Very big stars burn the gas inside them for millions of years. When the gas is gone, the star dies, and we can't see it anymore. But smaller stars, like our Sun, burn gas more slowly, and they can live for around 10 billion years. In the night sky, some groups of stars make shapes. These are called constellations. There are about 88 constellations in the Milky Way. People have given the constellations names. Some have the names of characters from stories, like Orion. Orion was a great hunter. Others are named after things they look like the big bear and the little bear. Stars are amazing. Let's find out more. What life is there in the Arctic? The Arctic covers parts of Northern Europe, Greenland, Canada, Russia, and Alaska. In the Arctic, there's lots of snow, and the wind is strong and icy. There's very little rain in the Arctic. The tundra habitat is a cold desert. But there is life in the Arctic. Not many plants grow in the frozen ground, but small plants, like moss and grass, grow in the tundra. In the summer, herbivores like the Arctic hare eat leaves and berries from plants. Reindeer eat roots, grass, and moss. In the winter, herbivores have to dig under the snow to find food. It isn't easy for animals to survive in the Arctic in the winter. Reindeer have thick fur to keep them warm, but there isn't enough food for them in the winter. So they move south in big groups to find warmer areas with more food. For carnivores like the Arctic fox and polar bears, there's food all year round. In the summer, Arctic foxes have got brown fur, But as the weather gets colder, their fur changes colour. In the winter, they have thick white fur, so they can keep warm and hide in the snow. Many of the biggest animals in the Arctic live near and in the Arctic Ocean. It's so cold in the Arctic that the surface of the ocean freezes and turns to ice. But under the ice, the Arctic Ocean is home to lots of fish and mammals like seals, walruses, and the amazing narwhal. Walruses can grow to more than 1,500 kilograms. Their fat keeps them warm. They've got 2 large tusks to stop polar bears from eating them. Narwhals are the only kind of whale that have got a tusk, and they've only got one. About 4 million people live in the Arctic. Some of these people are Inuit. These are the native people who have lived in the Arctic for thousands of years. In the past, the Inuit moved from place to place, hunting for food. In the winter, they lived in shelters made of snow. Today, the Inuit don't travel as much as before. They still hunt and fish, but many of them live in wooden houses in small villages. There's lots of life in the Arctic. Let's find out more. What do we know about the Stone Age? The Stone Age was a time long ago when people used stone tools to help them survive. The Stone Age was about 3.4 million years long. It ended when people first started using metal to make tools and weapons. Stone Age people were hunter-gatherers. This means they lived in small groups and hunted animals and gathered plants for food. Sometimes they hunted big animals, like woolly mammoths, to eat. But they had to gather most of their food. They looked for fruit, leaves, birds' eggs, and berries to eat. Stone Age people often used flint. They made the flint very sharp, and they used it to make weapons and tools. They made wooden axes with flints on the end so they could cut down trees. They used the wood to make fires to cook their food and to make canoes so they could collect fish. They made tools using the bones of animals they hunted, and they used the skins and fur to make clothes and shelter. Stone Age people used clay and rock powder to make paint. They used the paint to draw on the walls of caves. We've learned a lot about the lives of Stone Age people from the paintings we can still see today. Some groups of Stone Age people made strange circles using very large stones. The stones were taken from different places. They didn't have wheels in the Stone Age, so it was very difficult to move the large stones. Archaeologists think that Stone Age people used these circles to celebrate times when the sun was highest in the sky in the summer and lowest in the sky in the winter. We can still see lots of these stone circles today. There are famous stone circles at Stonehenge in England and Callanish in Scotland, but the oldest stone circles we can see today are at Göbekli Tepe in Turkey. The Stone Age was an interesting time. Let's find out more.